Do you ever wonder which kind of things you should measure and track when it comes to your health? I mean, there's so many different variables that we could look at. We could look at weight, different circumferences of different body parts. We could look at blood sugar, blood pressure. There's all these things. Well, in today's video, we're going to break down 5 simple at-home tests and measurements that you can make that are research proven to be highly predictive of how healthy you are. And these are things that you can practically track to not just ensure that you are going to live a long, healthy life, but also as you start to drift, these are warning signs that your body's getting a little off kilter. What I love about these is it's not blood work, it's not going to your doctor, although you should do that stuff. This is at-home stuff that you can do on your own to take charge of your health and live a better life. So we're going to cover that in this video. I think you're going to learn a ton. So get out a pen and paper and let's dive on in, my friend.
fitfatherproject.com.
All right, so the first most simple and one of the most research-backed things that you should track is your waist circumference. And this is different than your weight or your BMI. So your weight is your scale weight, and we'll get to that in a little bit later in this video. And your BMI is a ratio of your height to your weight. But specifically, we want to track our waist circumference. So around the belly button, if we were to put a tape measure around the waist, how big is that area? Because what the research actually shows is that if they take normal weight people that have the same BMI, meaning they have the same height to weight ratio, but if person A carries more weight around their midsection and has a higher waist circumference than person B, even though they're the same weight, this person has a much higher likelihood to have diabetes, heart disease, and early death. So there's something about waist circumference in general that makes it very predictive of health. And a large part of this is that people that carry a lot of their weight and their fat around the midsection typically have more of a kind of fat called visceral fat. And visceral fat is the deep fat that gets around your organs and it creates inflammation around your organs. And this is different than the subcutaneous fat you might pinch on the back of your arm or a little bit on your belly. It's that deep fat that seems so predictive of disease. So waist circumference is something we really should look at. And I'll quote another great study here, is that they showed that women with a waist circumference greater than 35 inches had, I think, a 44% greater chance of dying of all different kinds of diseases. So this is a really, really big effect and stuff that we really need to look at as it relates to our health. And it's simple. Just get a tape measure and track the waist circumference. And it's something that we should try to keep small. So for guys, it's a great idea to try to get that waist circumference certainly under 40, ideally under 35. In women, definitely that 35 cutoff is a great idea. Get it under 35. That's going to be most predictive of your overall health. And so that's our first tip for at-home measurements. All right, so the second measurement that's really valuable to track, especially as you're on the course of living healthier and losing some weight, is your morning blood sugar. And this is something that a lot of people who don't have diabetes or pre-diabetes don't really think to measure, but certainly anyone who's gone to their doctor and if they've taken blood sugar readings and they're really high, then doctors often recommend, hey, check your morning blood sugar. It's very predictive of how your body's doing in terms of managing blood sugar and your long-term glycemic control. But normal people who do not have diabetes can still check their morning blood sugar. It tells you a lot. And ideally, when we take our morning blood sugar, when we can get a little reader from CVS or Walgreens, you prick your finger, you put the blood on the reader, and it'll check your morning blood sugar levels. We want those under 95, ideally even lower. And we know that so much of the chronic disease that are plaguing so many of our friends and our family members, or maybe even ourselves, is really related to our ability to control our blood sugar over time. Heart disease, diabetes, even Alzheimer's and dementia, which is now being called type 3 diabetes, is very related to your glycemic control. So it's a good thing to track, because if we consistently see that your morning blood sugar is over 100, over 110, over 120, then it really is a good warning sign that we need to clean your diet up. We need to get some weight off. We need to get rid of some of the carbs and the sugar in the diet and get those numbers better. So under 95, it's a great thing to check. And if you go to Walgreens, CVS, or whatever your local convenience store is, and you buy a test strip, this is something you can do periodically. Twice a week maybe, if you're really starting to see some readings that you want to improve. But it could be once a month down the line as like a maintenance kind of thing, just to check in, what is your fasting morning blood sugar? Let's get that under 95. All right, so the third thing that is really valuable to track and measure to kind of gauge your overall health is your morning heart rate. And this is really interesting, and not enough people talk about this, but your morning heart rate actually tells you a lot about what's going on in your body, particularly how stressed you are. When we're stressed, and let's say this is our baseline level of stress. We all have some, right? But when we're really stressed and our stress levels are way above baseline, our heart rate is higher in the morning. And this is something that a lot of athletes do check because it can really inform them about when they're overtraining, but we need to be doing this too as just everyday people wanting to live healthy. If we track our morning heart rate consistently, and let's say our normal heart rate's 65 or something like that, and then we check our morning heart rate, and look, our morning heart rate's 85 this morning. That's a huge, huge telltale sign that our nervous system is under stress. Our sympathetic branch of that nervous system is on overdrive, and it's increasing blood pressure, increasing heart rate, and we're kind of in this fight or flight mode. Why is that important? Well, oftentimes when we come to stress, we don't put objective numbers to our stress. We just say, I'm stressed. Well, it's nice to get a gauge to know from doing something as simple as taking your pulse or using an Apple Watch or a smartphone to check your morning pulse. And if it's a lot higher than it normally is, then you know your body's stressed. So it's a time to get some more sleep that day, eat healthy, get more water, and start to get those numbers into normal ranges. When it comes to these measurements, it's yes, the data we're getting, but it's also the feedback loops, the fact that we are measuring that makes things so effective. Because if we're trying to, let's say, drive from point A to point B, point A being where we're at with our health, point B where we want to be, and we're driving in hopefully, the straight narrow path as best we can, eventually we're going to start to veer off path. What measurement does is it gives us a feedback to get us to course correct. If we don't create these measurement points, we can drift really far and wake up 10, 15 years down the line and be like, what the hell happened to my body? That's why measurements, something as simple as taking your morning heart rate, can really help so that stress doesn't snowball into a huge problem that leads to some kind of adrenal fatigue or adrenal burnout. If we know that, oh, we're a little stressed, we can get back on track, do some restorative rituals, get more sleep, get more water and good food, and get you back on track. So that's something we absolutely is very beneficial to track. Let's move on to our next step. The fourth thing that I do recommend you track is your weight over time. And particularly if you're a person who wants to lose weight, what the research actually shows is that people who weigh themselves daily lose more weight and keep it off compared to people who weigh less frequently. And this goes against the, old wisdom we had, which has actually turned out to be false from the research, where we shouldn't weigh every day. We should weigh once every 7 days or once every couple weeks. But again, it all comes back to feedback loops and learning and getting data from our body. So the benefit of weighing very frequently, even if you're a person who is not trying to lose weight, is that it provides feedback on the scale to what's happening in your body real time. So let's say you had a meal last night at a restaurant and you ate some things and you found that when you got on the scale the next day, normally your weight is, let's just say, 200 pounds, but today you're 205. Well, what does that mean? Did you gain 5 pounds of fat? Certainly not, but you are holding water. Your digestive system is not moving as well as it could. We have a bowel movement we need to have, and that gives you good feedback on how those particular foods interacted with your body. If we did not weigh ourselves, we don't have an actual data point to see, oh wow, there's a connection here, and our brain starts to pay attention to, okay, I do this, this is what happens. The more we weigh, the more feedback loops we get, and it's so important to learn how different foods affect your body. And when it comes to weight loss itself, what gets tracked and measured gets improved. I love that quote. It's an organizational management quote from Peter Drucker, I think. But when it comes to weight loss, you need to track consistently because it keeps it on the front of your mind. And listen, you're going to slip up at some point. You're going to eat something on your diet that you might feel guilty about the next day. And the nice thing is that seeing the scale and seeing those numbers jump up helps to retrain the brain to make the connection between I do this, I get a result I don't want. And it creates a little bit of healthy pain that helps keep you on track over the long term. And if you give yourself too much time between, doing stimulus and weighing yourself and getting the result, you don't make those brain connections and you're not training yourself to live a healthier life. So there's so many benefits to weighing, whether you want to lose weight or if you just want to live a healthy life. Weigh yourself daily over time, chart the course, see how your weight fluctuates. Does it fluctuate seasonally? If you weighed yourself enough consistently, you can see maybe around the holidays, you typically gain 5 to 10 pounds. And maybe you can chill out about that. You know that happens, then you tend to lose it in January. But without weighing, we won't get that great data point. And it's so simple. All you need is a bathroom scale. And you can do it first thing in the morning with your heart rate and taking a pinprick of your blood sugar. And there you go. It takes literally 2 minutes and you got so much great data. Let's move on to our final step. The last thing that is incredibly important for all of us modern humans to track and measure is the number of hours we're sitting per day. And this is something not enough people are talking about. And it's scary because the new research shows that sitting is the new smoking. People who sit more than 6 hours per day are 44% more likely to die, any cause of death. And we don't fully know the mechanisms of why sitting is so bad for our bodies. It has to do with circulation, perhaps. It has to do with our muscles getting tight and maybe leads to inflammation in organs. We do not fully know why the science says what it says, but what we're seeing is that you sit a lot, you get health problems, period. And look, a lot of us do have desk jobs. We sit down a lot, so we need to track the amount we're sitting and then improve upon that number. So if you know, like if you have a Fitbit or a phone and you're tracking how much you're sitting per day, let's try to improve that number, get it well under 6, set a timer at your desk and get up every hour and walk around, get yourself moving. I suspect, from my own research and data, that it's the prolonged continuous sitting that is that dangerous. If we were to take those, the amount of time sitting and then intersperse it with little breaks where you're getting up, you're moving around, I suspect the benefit, or I guess I should say the detriment of sitting that long wouldn't be nearly as bad. But we want to track that. Because if you're a person that has a highly sedentary lifestyle, even if you exercise, if you're sitting more than 6 hours per day, you have this higher risk of death from pretty much any cause. Not good. So let's track that. And I think it's something that's very simple. There's so many new apps and wearable trackers and stuff, if you're into that you can use to track it. And definitely make a concerted effort to get up more from your desk, to walk around, to take a lunch walk, to get more sunshine, to get up off that desk. Or if you're like me, you can get a standing desk. And I love it. It's really had a huge benefit on my life. And I find that when I'm working, I'm more productive, I'm less tired, my energy is better. And so a standing desk can be a great option as well. So I hope you found this video valuable and you got some simple and actionable things that you can measure, at-home stuff. Yes, it's still a great idea to work with your doctor and get regular blood work and check your blood pressure, but these are some simple at-home tests that you can do that are very predictive and keep you motivated and on track. And I hope you found this video valuable and you got at least 1 to 2 good nuggets and strategies that you can implement into your life. I'm really grateful if you found this, and I hope you are very, very successful with your health, your weight loss goals. Here, our team in the Fit Father Project, if you're looking for some support, particularly on the nutrition, the exercise, and the motivation accountability component, we have an amazing 30-day fitness program that we've used to help over 10,000 fathers lose over 75,000 pounds of fat. You can definitely check that out. There's links below this video. There's links in the article associated with this video as well. And if you're just getting started with us, perhaps the best thing to do is get a copy of our free 1-day weight loss meal plan or a free 24-minute fat burning workout for busy fathers. These are free resources. We'll send them straight to your email. We'll tell you a little bit more about our 30-day program in those resources, but it's 100% free stuff. It's amazing, and you'll know exactly how to eat and exercise to feel amazing. And now you also know what to track along the way. Hope you found this valuable. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you like this. And if you're on the Fit Father Project blog, make sure you do download those resources. We'll send them straight to your email. And subscribe to our channel for new updates when we post new videos. We have hundreds on the channel right now on stuff like what to track for sure, but also eating, exercise, losing fat, building muscle. We are the Fit Father Project. This is what we do. Thanks for being here, my friend. I'll see you around the channel, around the blog, in those free resources, and I'll talk to you very soon.